Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Understanding the Human Condition. I'm your host, Dr. James Flowers. I could not be more excited to not invite, but have a special guest today, Marlon Wayans. Marlon, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you being here. I know you're super busy and appreciate your time. You know, when we think of comedy, we always think that we know that you come from a huge family of comedians, of course, the Wayans. So you come from an amazing heritage, and we're used to seeing you as Mr. Funny. But recently, viewers have been surprised to see you really in a more serious role. Last year, you worked with Jennifer Hudson in a serious role in Respect. You played the dramatic role of an abusive husband. And we recently saw you make that special appearance on Bel-Air. How do you feel about going from comedian to serious role?
I think a lot of great comedians make for great actors.
I
I
think
think
so.
it's part of the nature of the beast. The skill set you have to have as a comedian, it comes from such a dark place, right? You have this skill set to take something so dark and find something funny about it. It doesn't mean that you
Absolutely.
don't deal with that pain. It's just you go, okay, what's funny about it? And then you make the world laugh at what's funny. And then you take the pain and you put it away. And then when
Yeah.
you do a drama, you open up that little safe and you let all that pain that you didn't deal with out. So that's one. I think comedians, we walk around like this. You know,
Yeah.
my heart is always on my sleeves. As a fool, you're open to the crowd. You're usually the wisest person in the room, but you're also the silliest. And I think that lack of ego allows you to
Mhm.
really get in there and get to those emotions and let them out in a real way. And I went to performing arts high school. I've been acting since I was, I don't know, 5. So I did my
Yeah.
first play. I went to performing arts high school. I didn't go for comedy. I went for dramatic arts. So I know how to act. I'm just known for being a comedian, and I wear that badge with honor because, you know, it's hard to play 7 characters in one movie. I've played a white woman. I've played a little person.
Uh-huh.
I've played a junkie. I've played a criminal. I've played 7 people in one movie. I played 3 people in White Chicks. Like at this point in my career, I just know I'm just getting better. And whatever you give me, I don't care if it's a drama, I don't care if it's a silly comedy, I don't care if it's a romance, I don't care if it's an action. I'm at that point now. These are my Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington years, you know?
Yes, they are. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think both of your dramatic roles so far have been Oscar winning performances. And, you know,
Thank you.
speaking of Oscars, I think were you at the Oscars this time?
No, because I would have been torn. Who do I jump in for?
I know. I was just going to ask you, who would have you jumped in for?
They're both my friends. So, you know,
Yeah, of
actually,
course. Yeah,
Chris Slap will approach me to do Bel Air. He actually
is right.
he approached me now like this, but he
Yeah.
approached me with a role. And you know, I've known Chris Rock since I was 12. So I was 20. I know Jada since I was 19. So you
Yeah.
know, I'm torn all kinds of ways, and I hope they all, you know, get together and have a big powwow. You know, I think Will was clearly going through something. He's 1,000% wrong because
Sure.
calling her GI Jane as a man, as a young man who loved GI Jane, that is such a compliment. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
that came out, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's sexy. So
Yeah.
he took it the wrong way. Obviously, the brother's dealing with something, and I think that you know, I don't care about. I think check on your strong friends. 1 and 2. That was a human moment from a godlike human. Everything
That's
he's done at that point. Imagine the amount of pressure that has been on that man for that long. And for you to snap like that, I text him afterward. I said, "You look, congrats on the Oscar, beautiful work. Enjoy your night. But Monday, you go sit your ass down in the therapist for 3 hours and you unpack. Because, brother, you got stuff inside of you that you have to let out." I get concerned when I see that. You know what
Yeah. And I think that's probably exactly what he's probably doing. I think he's an amazing human being. Obviously, all 3 of them are. Chris, you know, Rock, all of them. And I think they probably will end up probably sitting down together and hugging it out. And, you know, it was a bad moment in time. I don't know what I think about a 10-year suspension. What is your thought on a 10-year suspension?
I think it's for an act like that, I think it's fair. You know, they could have Pete Rosed him and
Right.
never let him back in the game. So
Yeah.
a 10-year suspension, that's time out for 10 years to think about what you did because, you know, there's a lot of repairs that have to happen. You know what I mean? Like that's game changing. And for that moment, trying to erase, it'll take longer than 10 years to erase that.
Yeah,
That
it
moment.
will. It's a historic moment on the Oscars that none of us will ever forget, especially.
I ain't giving back the statue. I'll be 10 years, but I ain't giving back the statue.
That's right. That's going on my shelf. I know. Speaking of, that was a traumatic night. Many comedians come from trauma and, like, as you said, from a dark place. Can you speak to trauma and comedy and your own trauma and history and comedy and how you bring that out?
That's the well in which my family pulls from. Our neighborhood, we grew up poor in the projects with all these characters around us, in and out of jail, crackheads, dudes on the corners, like drug dealers, like we seen all that. And we just go, what's funny about it? We was the class clowns. So that was our gift in the community, was to make people laugh. And we just took it out of the community and brought it to Hollywood. And it was like, what flavor is that? It's called ghetto. And it's funny. It's called the streets. And they've never seen comedy like the way, we were doing comedy since like maybe a Richard Pryor. I think my new set right now, I talk about the most traumatic thing that happened to me, which is losing my mother. And that's crazy that you would make a set about losing your mother. Like, what's funny about that? I don't know. But it actually was it helped to heal me without this process of talking about it on stage and owning how I felt and being able to express that. Like, I don't know. I think I probably would have slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars too.
Exactly. I can identify with losing your mother. I lost my mother to Alzheimer's. And I can also identify the comedy that may come out of it, as if I was a comedian and just the things that happened and occurred. And I watched my mother and eventually ended up in an amazing nursing home. But I can see how you can turn a tragedy and a traumatic event of your mother dying into that experience of a comedic act.
At least my mother would go to a wonderful nursing home.
Yeah.
My mom was like, I ain't going no damn home. Y'all take care of me. Wait, no, I changing your mama's Pampers. That's love, man. That's love. It's karma because they changed ours. But we wasn't eating real food. We wasn't eating bacon and pork chops and ribs and steak. We wasn't eating. We used that baby milk.
That's right. Well, I had a horrible time putting my own mother in a nursing home, but at the time it was the best thing for her, and it was an amazing experience. But and speaking of family, I put out today that I was going to interview you this afternoon, and I said, so send in your questions. I had one person respond, and it was my niece, Marie Earthman, at Pomp and Circumstance here in Houston. So I want to give her a shout out. I'm kidding. I had more than one response, but yeah. Hey, Marie. And she wanted to know, she said that you're really transparent in your shows. She was crazy that I was actually talking to you today. She said you're really transparent about your family, and you recently shared an experience about your daughter coming out. And she wanted to know, how is that for you emotionally, mental health wise? How is your daughter doing with coming out? And how did your family handle that situation?
It's funny because my sister hit me up and was like, are you okay? I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, with mine, coming out, and she made transition. I said, Kim, I'm fine. That's her life, not mine. Acceptance is the greatest love you can have. So I always tell my daughter, stop, showing her label herself this or label herself that, and put this pronoun, now she's they. Whoever you are, you will be loved. You could be Ahmad, you could be Kai, whatever you choose to do in your life. You could be gay today, go back to straight tomorrow, and go back to being gay again on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. That's your life. As long as you're smiling, as long as you're happy, Daddy loves you. And love is acceptance. And for me to hold on and try to make her this or make her that, no, this is her dash. This is her life. And she has to honor that the best way that she can. Nobody should be closeted about their life. Like, people should be able to live their life to the fullest. If that is what you do, then be you. Why do you have to be assigned to be something for anybody? Accept yourself. Be a great parent, of course. Be loved, of course. But don't judge people for being them. They're just them, man. And they have every right to be them, and you have every right to be you. And it's funny because now with me, I'm like, oh, well, now we getting all this out the closet. You can see who I really am.
I don't I don't know if you've seen the latest Medea movie, Tyler Perry movie, but when Tyler Perry's Medea's grandson decided he was going to come out, they were in the backyard and it was a big family barbecue. And they were all sitting around and the grandson walks out and he's sweating and he says, I have something to tell you. I've got to, and the family's just sitting there and they're all quiet and they're all kind of squinting their eyes and they keep panning over to Tyler Perry. And I'm like, oh boy, how is this going to play out? Because I knew what he was going to say. And he said, I'm gay. And they all just looked. It was absolutely not one person moved. Tyler Perry got up and started singing and hugging on him and dancing. They all got up and danced and loved on him. And they did exactly what you're just saying. And I'm so glad that's basically what you did with your daughter. And I have one request for you. You're going to Florida very soon, I think this week or next week. And when you're in Florida and you're working, I want you to stand up on stage and say gay, gay, gay. Because in Florida, as you know, the new do not say gay, don't say gay rule is there. So you got to do something on that.
What is that?
Yeah, the Governor DeSantis in the state of Florida, there's a new law that in elementary school, you cannot use the word gay.
Why?
I'm going to give Jordan Dean some information on it. I'm going to email it to her and have her give it to you. And in Florida, it is against the law to say the word gay to a child in elementary school.
All right, well, I'm going to say it to a bunch of adults in the comedy club.
You have to. I'm going to send it to Jordan and y'all have got to look at it. It is the most insane thing I have ever seen in my life. It is an actual law. So I thought you might appreciate that. Tell me any shows or films coming out that you'd like to share about. I want to know if there's going to be a White Chicks too.
Maybe. We'll see. Everybody wants White Chicks too, but that's 7 hours of makeup and it's a lot of work. Them heels. I'm like, I make the same amount of money being a black man, so you have to pay me a lot to do a White Chicks too. I have a Halloween movie called Boo coming out on Netflix on Halloween. It's a father-daughter movie, basically about a family that moves to a small town and all the Halloween decorations come to life. Yep. And then the daughter gotta save the town and save the world. It's cute. Nice. And then I have a special coming out April 21st called The Headliners, and that's starring 5 of my best friends that's comedians, and they've opened for me around the world, and I opened for them. And that night, they're the headliners. So it's a really funny comedy special with me and 5 other comedians, and that comes out the 21st of April. And then I'm on tour all May. So
yeah, you are. I looked at your website, and I wish you all the best. My last question was going to say, what is your understanding of the human condition? But I can tell from this brief interview and your daughter's life and your experience and your background and your mom, you absolutely have a key understanding of what the human condition is. And you're a great example of a human condition, of the human condition. So Marlon Wayans, I really appreciate your time. And anything else you want to end on tonight?
I'm good, man. Live, love, laugh, always.
There you go. All right.
Do you do anything to take care of your own mental health?
Yeah, I go to therapy. I have a therapist. I hit them up sometimes I try to do it weekly or monthly. I'm always so busy, but when I feel it, I'm like, I got to unpack. And it's time for me. And we sit down and we talk, whether it's a Zoom, because sometimes you just need to talk it out. You know what I mean? And that's important because even for myself, insanity is everywhere. And a lot of insanity, a lot of mental health, it has to do with, it's like prevention, right? Prevention is important. I do it with, when I eat right, I'm preventing getting diabetes through my diet, right?
That's right.
But it's the same thing with your mental health. You have to unload, you have to unpack, because emotionally we go through so much. And if you don't, you just snap and you don't know where you are and you wind up slapping Chris Rock like the Oscars.
That's exactly right. Jordan Dean, right there, thank you for being my co-host today. I really appreciate you, Jordan, so much setting this up. Exactly. I wish I was up there with you guys, but I know you're going to have a great time.
Oh, thank you, bro.
So I really appreciate both of you very much. Jordan, thank you. Marlon, thank you. Keep doing the great work that you're doing, and we love you very much.
I'm about to go do some great work right now. Y'all take it easy.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye, Dr. Flowers.
Bye, Jordan. Thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye.